Hi everyone, welcome to day 7 of Mrs. Lamprin's reading group. Today is a special day because today is a catch-up day. So there is no comprehension quiz today. It is meant for you to be able to go back, double check your work, make sure you're doing your best. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or behind, today was meant to kind of give you a breather. Right? The only thing that you're required to do today is to read the next set in the one and only Ivan, which is page 128 to 147. So you can listen to me read it or you can read it on your own. And then you need to study the set 3 vocabulary on Quizlet, which I will attach in this video post on your Google Classroom. So let's go through our vocabulary words very quickly. So here we go. Word 1. We have intently, contemplating, mesmerized, addled, shrouded, forge, venture, amplify, sullen, thrilled, trudges, and gleaming. Okay, so those are all on Quizlet for you. Okay, so let's begin today's reading. All right, here we go. Page 128. The end. One day, a still day, when the hot air hummed, the humans came. Vine. After they captured my sister and me, they put us in a crammed, dark crate that smelled of urine and fear. Somehow I knew that in order to live I had to let my old life die, but my sister could not let go of our home. It held her like a vine stretching across the miles, comforting, strangling. We were still in our crate when she looked at me without seeing, and I knew that the vine had finally snapped. The temporary human. It was Mac who pried open the crate, Mac who bought me, and Mac who raised me like a human baby. I wore diapers, I drank from a bottle, I slept in a human bed, sat in human chairs, listened while human words swarmed around me like angry bees. Mac had a wife then. Helen was quiet, was quick to laugh, but quick to anger too, especially when I broke something, which was often. Here's what I broke while I lived with Mac and Helen. 1 crib, 46 glasses, 7 lamps, 1 couch, 3 shower curtains, 3 shower rods, 1 blender, 1 TV, 1 radio, 3 toes. My own. I broke the blender when I squeezed 3 tubes of toothpaste and a bottle of glue into it. I broke my toes attempting to swing from a lamp fixture on the ceiling. I broke 46 glasses. Well, it turns out there are many ways to break a glass. Every weekend, Mac and Helen took me in their convertible to a fast food restaurant where they ordered me french fries and a strawberry shake. Mac loved to see the expression on the cashier's face when he drove up and said, "Could I have some extra ketchup for my kid?" I went to baseball games, to the grocery store, to a movie theater, even to the circus. They didn't have a gorilla. I rode in a motorbike, and I blew out candles on my birthday. My life as a human was glamorous one, although my parents, traditional sorts, would not have approved. Hunger. In my new life as a human, I was well tended. I ate lettuce leaves with Thousand Island dressing and caramel apples and popcorn with butter. My belly ballooned. But hunger, like food, comes in many shapes and colors. At night, lying alone in my poo pajamas, I felt hungry for the skilled touch of a grooming friend, from a cheerful grunt of a play fight, for the easy safety of my nearby troop, forging through the shadows. Remember what happened to Tag? I told myself. Don't think about the jungle. Sometimes I lay awake wishing for the warmth of another just like me, asleep in a night nest of tender prayer plant leaves. I like having sips of soda poured into my mouth like a bubbling waterfall, but every now and then I long to search for a tender stalk of arrowroot, to feel the tease of a mango just out of reach. Still life. One day Helen came home with something large and flat wrapped in brown paper. "Look what I've bought today," she said excitedly as she tore off the paper. A painting to go over the living room couch." "Fruit in a bowl," Mac said with a shrug. "Big deal." "This is fine art. It's called a still life," Helen explained, "and I think it's lovely." I dashed over to examine the painting, marveling at the colors and shapes. "See, Mac's wife? Ivan likes it. Ivan likes to roll up poop and throw it at squirrels," Mac said. I couldn't take my eyes off the apples and bananas and grapes in the picture. They looked so real, so inviting, so edible. I reached out to touch a grape, and Helen slapped my hand. "Bad boy, Ivan, don't touch." She jerked her thumb at Mac. "Honey, go get a hammer and a nail, would ya?" While Mac and Helen were busy in the living room, I wandered into the kitchen. A cake covered in thick chocolate frosting sat on the counter. I like cake. I love it, in fact. But I wasn't eating it. I was thinking about it was painting. The frosting peaked and dipped like waves on a tiny pond. It looked rich and gooey, dark and smooth. It looked like mud. I scooped up a handful of frosting. I scooped up another. I headed to the refrigerator. It was perfect, an empty white canvas. The frosting wasn't as easy to work with as jungle mud. It was stickier and, of course, more tempting to eat, but I kept it. I scraped off every last bit of the frosting. I may have eaten a little cake, too. I don't remember what I was trying to paint. A banana, most likely. I suppose I knew I was going to get in trouble. But at that moment, I just didn't care. I wanted to make something, anything, the way I used to. I wanted to be an artist again. Punishment. So I learned that humans can screech even louder than monkeys. After that, I was never allowed in the kitchen. Babies. Back in those days, the Big Pop Mall was smaller. It had a pony ride, a wooden train that bustled around the parking lot, a few bedraggled parrots, and a Shirley spider monkey. But when Mac bought me, a baby gorilla dressed in a crisp tuxedo, to the mall, everything changed. People came from far and wide to have their pictures taken with me. They brought me blocks and a toy guitar. They held me in their laps. Once I even held a baby in mine. She was small and slippery. Bubbles flowed from her lips. She squeezed my finger. Her rear was puffy with padding. Her legs bowed like bent twigs. I made a face. She made a face. I grunted. She grunted. I was so afraid she would fall that I squeezed her tightly, and her mother yanked her away. I wonder if my mother ever worried about dropping us. We always held on, but that's easier to do when your mother is furry. Baby humans are an ugly lot. Their eyes are like our baby's eyes, too big for their faces and for the world. Beds. One day, after many weeks of loud talking, Helen packed a bag and slammed the front door and never came back. I don't know why. I never know the why of humans. That night, I slept with Mac in his bed. My old nests were woven of leaves and sticks and shaped like a bathtub, cool green cocoons. Mac's bed, like mine, was flat, hot, without sticks or stars. Still, he made a sleeping sound like the rumble my father used to make when all was well, a sound from deep inside his belly. My place. Mac grew sullen. I grew bigger. I became what I was meant to be. Too large for chairs, too strong for hugs, too big for human life. I tried to stay calm, to move with dignity. I did my best to eat daintily, but humans are hard to learn, especially when you're not a human. When I saw my new domain, I was thrilled, and who wouldn't have been? It had no furniture to break, no glasses to smash, no toilets to drop Mac's keys, no toilet to drop Mac's keys into. It even had a tire swing. I was relieved to have my own place. Somehow, I didn't realize I'd be here quite so long. Now I drink Pepsi, eat old apples, watch reruns on TV. But my days But many days I forget what I'm supposed to be. Am I a human? Am I a gorilla? Humans have so many words, more than they truly need. Still, they have no name for what I am. 9,876 days. Ruby is finally asleep. I watch her chest rise and fall. Bob, too, is snoring. But my mind is still racing for perhaps the first time ever. I've been remembering. It's an odd story to remember, I have to admit. My story has a strange shape, a stunted beginning, an endless middle. I I count all the days I live with humans. Gorillas count as well as anyone, although it's not a particularly useful skill to have in the wild. I've forgotten so many things, and yet I've always precisely known how many days I've been in my domain. I take one of the magic markers Julia gave me. I make an X, a small one, on my painted jungle wall. I make more X's and more. I make an X for every day of my life with humans. My marks look like this. The rest of the night I mark the days, and when I'm done, my wall looks like this. And so on until there are 9,876 X's marching across my wall like a parade of ugly insects. A visit. It's almost morning when I hear steps. It's Mac. He has a sharp smell. He weaves as he walks. I stand next to my domain. His eyes are red. He is staring out the window at the empty parking lot. Ivan, my man, he grumbles. Ivan. He presses his forehead against the glass. We've been through a lot, you and me. Okay, we're going to stop there today. Remember that today is a catch-up day, so go back and check any work that you haven't done. Make sure it's your best work. Study those vocabulary words. If you're feeling like you've got those vocabulary words down, you can go ahead and move on to set 4, so you're kind of a little bit ahead. It's really up to you. I would suggest staying with set 3, but that's your choice. If you have any questions, let me know. I miss you all, and I hope that you're doing well. Bye. Stay safe.